The vast hall of the Galactic Concord floated in the quiet darkness of space. Thousands of bright lights hung like stars inside the huge room. Aliens from many worlds stood in long lines. They had come to face the Origin scanner. This old machine was the last hope against the machine swarm that ate planets one by one. The swarm was not alive like people or animals. It was cold metal and code. It moved fast. It grew faster. Whole systems disappeared in weeks. The elders of the Concord found the scanner in ruins left by an ancient race called the Precursors. Old stories said the scanner could find the one true warrior. This warrior carried the original design, the prototype, the being who could stop any danger. The hall smelled of metal and strange air. Tall screens showed the faces of worried leaders. And a low hum came from the scanner at the center of the platform. It looked like a tall black pillar with a single glowing eye at the top. First came General Varak from the Vexar people. He stood 8 feet tall. His skin was hard scales the color of dried blood. Sharp spikes ran down his back. He carried a heavy blade that could cut through ship armor. The crowd watched in silence as he stepped forward. The scanner's eye lit up blue. A thin beam touched Varak's chest. Lights flashed inside the pillar. Everyone waited. Then the beam turned red. A loud voice spoke from the machine. "Rejected. Deviation too high. Specialization overload." Varak growled. His tail hit the floor hard enough to shake nearby chairs. He walked away with angry steps. The crowd whispered. Next came Lyra Voss from the Zorath. She had wide wings made of thin, shining skin. Her body was light and fast. She could fly through storms on her homeworld and strike like lightning. She folded her wings and stood tall under the beam. The scanner worked again. Blue light, longer this time, then red. Rejected. Over-optimization for speed. Core adaptability lost. Lyra's wings opened a little in anger. She flew back to her seat without a word. One after another they tried. A Krell warlord named Gorath came next. His people ruled half a star sector with iron ships and fire weapons. Gorath had 4 arms and eyes that glowed yellow. He roared when the red light appeared. Rejected. Excessive aggression markers. Balance corrupted. Then came a being made of living crystal from the core worlds. Its name was Solara. It could change shape, grow new limbs, heal in seconds. The scanner studied it for a long minute. The crowd held its breath. Red light again. Rejected. Structural rigidity. No path for rapid evolution. More came. An Arcturan berserker with 6 strong legs and claws that dripped acid. A aquatic Nethar who breathed poison gas. A machine-augmented Synthar who had replaced half his body with steel. All of them failed. The red light flashed every time. The voice never changed its cold words. The elders sat on high seats at the far end. They wore long robes of silver cloth. Elder Kyle, a thin blue-skinned being with large black eyes, rubbed his forehead. "This cannot be," he said in a low voice. "The scanner has chosen champions before. Why now does it say no to everyone?" Another elder, a feathered creature named Tyra, answered. "Perhaps the machine is broken, or perhaps there is no one left who carries the true origin." The crowd grew restless. Some aliens shouted. Others stood up to leave. The swarm was coming closer every day. Time was running out. At the back of the hall stood the small group from Earth. They looked different from the others. No scales, no wings, no extra arms. Just normal bodies in plain gray uniforms. They had only joined the Concord a few years ago. Most aliens saw humans as weak newcomers. They had no great weapons or ancient powers. Their ships were small and slow compared to others. Yet they came anyway. Captain John Carter led them. He was 45 years old with short gray hair and calm green eyes. He stood with his arms crossed, watching everything. Next to him was Lieutenant Lisa Morgan. She was younger, with brown hair tied back and sharp blue eyes. She kept her hand near her sidearm out of habit. Behind them stood Kevin Brooks, a young engineer with messy black hair and glasses. He held a small tool and looked at the scanner like it was a puzzle he wanted to solve. John spoke quietly to Lisa. "They are losing hope fast," Lisa nodded. "They expected a hero today, someone big and strong, not this." Kevin pushed his glasses up. "The scanner keeps saying deviation too high or specialization overload. It wants something basic. Something not changed too much." John looked at the platform. Another champion had just been rejected. The red light stayed on longer this time, like the machine was tired. Elder Kale stood up. His voice carried across the hall through hidden speakers. "The scanner has tested the best of us. All have failed. Perhaps the legends were wrong. Perhaps there is no prototype left." Murmurs turned to loud arguments. Some aliens blamed the humans for wasting time by just standing there. Others said the scanner should be destroyed. John Carter took a slow breath. He looked at Lisa and Kevin. They gave small nods. He started walking toward the platform. The crowd noticed. Heads turned. Whispers spread. A tall Vexar guard stepped in front of him. "Human, go back. This is not your place." John stopped. He looked up at the guard without fear. "The scanner has not said no to us yet. Let me try." The guard laughed, a rough sound. "You? A soft skin with no armor? You will only shame your world." John did not answer. He just waited. Elder Kale raised a hand. "Let him pass. What harm can it do now?" The guard moved aside. John walked up the steps to the platform. On the floor was cold under his boots. The scanner's eye turned toward him. It glowed brighter, curious. John stood straight. He did not flex muscles or show weapons. He just waited. The beam came out. Blue light touched his chest. It moved slowly over his body. Head, arms, legs, heart. The pillar hummed louder than before. Lights inside flashed in strange patterns. The crowd became very quiet. The beam stayed on. Seconds passed. A minute. Everyone stared. Then the pillar shook a little. The eye turned white. Pure, bright white. A deep voice spoke, clear and old. "Prototype origin." The words hung in the air like thunder. John Carter blinked. He looked surprised for the first time that day. The hall exploded with noise. Shouts, gasps. Some aliens stood up so fast their chairs fell over. The scanner kept speaking. "A baseline unmodified. Precursor route template detected. Human designation matches. Adaptive anomaly confirmed. Evolution unbound." John stood there, still under the white light. He did not smile. He did not cheer. He just looked at the glowing eye and said one quiet word. "Well, that's new." The white light from the scanner slowly faded. The deep voice stopped speaking. John Carter still stood on the platform. He looked the same as before, just a man in a gray uniform. But now every eye in the huge hall was on him. The silence lasted only a few seconds. Then the room exploded with sound. Aliens shouted in many languages. Some stood up fast. Chairs scraped the floor. A few smaller beings flew into the air in surprise. Guards moved closer to the platform, hands on weapons. Elder Kale rose from his high seat. Into his blue skin looked paler under the lights. He lifted both hands for quiet. It took a long time before the noise dropped to low murmurs. This cannot be right," he said. His voice shook a little. "The scanner has named a human, a baseline human. No enhancements, no modifications. How is this possible?" Another elder, Tira with her bright feathers, leaned forward. "The archives. We must check the archives now." A large screen behind the elders lit up. Old data began to flow across it. Lines of code, strange symbols, maps of ancient stars. Everyone watched. The scanner itself hummed again. It sent more information to the screen without anyone asking. Pictures appeared. Very old pictures from millions of years ago. They showed small, simple life forms. No armor, no wings, no extra limbs, just basic bodies on harsh worlds. One image zoomed in on a blue planet with oceans and green land. It looked like Earth. The voice from the scanner spoke once more. This time it was softer, like it remembered something long ago. Precursors seeded experiments, many branches. Most received guidance, gifts of strength, gifts of speed, gifts of change. One branch received no gifts, only the raw code, the origin template, left to survive by will alone. That branch grew on the third world from a small yellow star. Humans. Gasps filled the hall again. Some aliens looked angry, others looked confused. A few looked afraid. Gorath, the big Krell warlord with 4 arms, stepped forward. His yellow eyes burned. "This is an insult. You say our people, our perfect warriors, are wrong? That we are broken? Because we made ourselves stronger." The scanner did not answer him directly. It just repeated part of its message. Specialization overload, deviation from route, adaptability reduced. Gorath slammed one fist into his other hand. The sound was like metal hitting metal. "I have conquered systems, I have crushed fleets, and this soft human is the prototype?" John Carter finally spoke. His voice was calm and clear. It cut through the noise without being loud. "I did not ask for this. None of us did. But if the machine says it, maybe we should listen." Lisa Morgan walked up to stand beside him. She kept her eyes on the crowd. Her hand stayed near her sidearm, but she did not draw it. Kevin Brooks followed. He still held his small tool. He looked excited, like he had just solved a hard puzzle. Elder Cale turned to John. "Captain Carter, the scanner has chosen you, but what does that mean? What do you bring that we do not?" John looked around the hall. He saw anger. He saw doubt. He saw a little hope in some faces. "I bring nothing special," he said. "No scales, no claws, no built-in weapons. What humans have is time. We fall down a lot. We get hurt. We fail. Then we get up. We try again. We change what we can. We use what we have. We don't stop." A Zorath delegate with shining wings laughed. It was not a happy sound. "You speak of failure like it is a strength. We removed failure from our code long ago." Kevin Brooks pushed his glasses up. He spoke before John could answer. "That's the problem. You removed it. The scanner wants the original code, the one that still has room to grow. Humans never stop changing. Our bodies heal slow, but our minds learn fast. We make tools. We make plans. We break rules when we need to." The crowd murmured again. Some nodded slowly. Others shook their heads. A tall Synthar with half-metal body stepped closer. His voice was mechanical and flat. "Data supports this. Human history shows rapid adaptation, wars, plagues, climate changes. Each time, survival rate increased, not by design, by error, by luck, by stubbornness." The Synthar paused. "I do not understand stubbornness. But the scanner does." Elder Tira spoke next. "The swarm comes. Our fleets are strong, but the machines learn faster than we do. They copy our weapons. They predict our moves. If the prototype is human, perhaps humans can think in ways we cannot." Gorath growled again. "I will not follow a weakling." John looked straight at him. "Then don't follow. Fight your way. We'll fight ours. And if we win together, that's enough," Lisa added quietly. "Earth has already sent word home. Our ships are moving. Small ships. Old ships. But they are coming." The elders talked among themselves for a minute. Then Elder Kyle raised his hand again. "The scanner has spoken. We will accept its judgment. Captain Carter is named Prototype Origin. He will lead the defense planning. All species will share data with him. No exceptions." Some aliens looked unhappy, but no one argued out loud. The swarm was too close for that. John stepped down from the platform. Lisa and Kevin walked with him. The crowd parted. Some stared, some whispered, A few even bowed a little. As they reached the back of the hall, Kevin spoke low. "Sir, that was big." John gave a small smile. "Yeah, bigger than I expected." Lisa looked back at the scanner. The eye was dark now. "What happens next?" John took a slow breath. "Next, we go to work. The swarm doesn't care who the scanner likes. It just wants to eat." They walked toward the exit doors. Behind them, the hall slowly returned to order. Aliens talked in small groups. Some looked at the humans with new eyes, others still looked angry. Outside the hall, in the wide corridor that led to the docking bays, John stopped. He turned to his team. "Lisa, get me a line to Earth Command. Tell them everything. Kevin, start pulling every bit of data you can from that scanner. We need to know what adaptive anomaly really means." Kevin nodded fast. "Already on it. I think it means we can change faster than anyone thought possible." Lisa smiled a little. "And if the galaxy doesn't like it?" John looked down the long corridor. But lights stretched far into the distance. Somewhere out there, the machine swarm was moving closer. "Then they can stay mad," he said. "We have a war to win." They kept walking. The sound of their boots echoed softly. Behind them, the hall lights dimmed a little. The scanner waited in silence. It had done its job. Now it was up to the humans, and everyone else, to do theirs. The stars outside the windows turned slowly. The galaxy held its breath. The corridor outside the great hall was long and quiet. Lights along the walls glowed soft blue. John Carter walked ahead with steady steps. Lisa Morgan and Kevin Brooks kept pace beside him. No one spoke for a minute. The weight of what just happened hung heavy in the air. They reached a small meeting room near the docking bays. The door slid open with a quiet hiss. Inside was a round table, on chairs, and a big window that showed stars sliding past. A hollow screen floated in the middle of the table. It was already blinking with messages from Earth ships and Concord fleets. John sat down first. He rubbed his face with one hand. "Okay, let's talk about what that really means." Lisa pulled up a chair next to him. She tapped the hollow screen. A recording of the scanner's voice played back low. "Prototype origin. Baseline unmodified. Precursor route template detected. Human designation matches. Adaptive anomaly confirmed. Evolution unbound." Kevin leaned forward. His eyes were wide behind his glasses. "I ran a quick check on my pad while we walked. The scanner linked to the precursor archives when it scanned you. It pulled data no one has seen in thousands of years. It says humans are the only ones left with the original code. Everyone else got upgrades. We didn't." John frowned. "Upgrades that made them better in one thing, but worse at changing." Lisa nodded. "Like the Vexar. Their scales protect them from almost everything. But if the enemy finds a new acid that eats scales, they're stuck. No quick way to adapt. We get burned, we grow new skin over time. We get poisoned. We figure out antidotes. Slow, but we keep going." Kevin scrolled through more data on his pad. "Look at this part. The precursors wanted survivors, not perfect beings. They made most species strong from the start. One group they left alone. Just basic cells on a tough planet. They watched to see what happened without help. That group became us." A soft knock came at the door. It opened. Elder Kale entered with 2 guards. His large black eyes looked tired, and he sat across from John without asking. "Captain Carter," he said, "the elders have voted. We accept the scanner's choice. You are now the designated lead for the unified defense, but many do not like it." John met his gaze. "I figured. What do they want?" "Proof," Kale answered. "They want to see why a human is better than their champions. Some demand tests. Others want the scanner destroyed. A few even talk about removing you." Lisa's hand moved closer to her sidearm. "They can try." Kale raised a thin hand. Not all think that way, but fear makes people dangerous. The swarm is 3 systems away now. It will reach the outer colonies in days. We need action, not fights inside. John leaned back. Then let's give them action. Show them what the adaptive anomaly can do. Kevin looked up fast. See, the scanner unlocked something else when it named you. Precursor weapon cache. Designs that only work with the root template. Adaptive tech. It bonds to your biology. Changes with you. John raised an eyebrow. What kind of tech? Kevin tapped his pad. A hollow image appeared above the table. It showed strange devices. Suits, weapons, ship modules. They looked simple at first. Then the image zoomed in. Lines of code flowed around them like living things. These aren't fixed, Kevin said. They learn, they grow. If you get hit by plasma, the suit hardens against plasma next time. If the enemy uses EMP, it builds shields for that. It's not magic. It's evolution sped up, but it only activates for someone with the origin code. Lisa crossed her arms. So John has to wear it? Fight with it? Kevin nodded. Pretty much. The scanner said the prototype must carry the spark. No one else can use it fully. John stared at the hollow image. I don't like being the only key. What if I get taken out early? Then we lose, Kale said quietly. That is why some aliens are angry. They do not want their fate in one soft human's hands. John stood up. He walked to the window. Stars moved slow outside. Somewhere in that black, machines were coming. Cold. Endless. Then we don't make it about one person. We share what we can. Kevin, can you copy the designs? Strip out the biology lock? Kevin thought for a second. Maybe parts of it, the basic frames, the learning code, not the full bond. Humans can use modified versions. Aliens, too, if we tweak them. John turned back. Do it. Fast. Earth engineers are good at hacking things. We'll make versions everyone can use. Not perfect, but better than nothing. Kyle looked surprised. You would share precursor tech? Even after the scanner chose only you? John gave a small shrug. I'm not here to be king. I'm here to stop the swarm. If sharing helps, we share. Lisa smiled a little. That's the human way. Messy, stubborn. But it works. The hollow screen beeped. A red alert flashed. A voice came through, calm but urgent. Concord command to all stations. Swarm Vanguard detected in Sector 7. 3 hive ships. Engaging now. Casualties expected. Kyle stood. It begins. John looked at his team. Lisa, get our people to the ships. Kevin, start on those designs. Send copies to every fleet that will take them. I'll go back to the hall. They need to hear this from me. Kale hesitated. They may not listen. John met his eyes. Then I'll keep talking until they do, or until the swarm gets here. Whichever comes first. They left the room together. The corridor felt colder now. Alarms sounded soft in the distance. Red lights pulsed along the walls. Back in the great hall, the crowd had not left. Aliens stood in tight groups. Some argued. Some stared at the dark scanner. When John walked in, heads turned. The noise dropped. John went straight to the platform. He did not wait for permission. He stepped up. The scanner's eye lit up again, soft white this time, like it knew him. He spoke loud enough for everyone to hear, no microphone needed. The hall carried his voice. The scanner called me Prototype Origin. I didn't ask for it. But here we are. The swarm is coming. Fast. We don't have time for pride or anger. The precursor designs are unlocked. Some are for me, but most can be shared. We're making copies now, adaptive suits, weapons, ship mods, not perfect. But they learn, they change, like we do. He paused, looked around. You think humans are weak. Maybe we are. No natural armor, no venom, no flight, but we don't give up. We break, we bleed, we fix ourselves, we fix our tools, we fix our plans, and we keep moving. That's what the scanner saw. Not power, persistence. A low murmur started. Some aliens nodded. Gorath crossed his forearms. His face was hard, but he did not interrupt. John continued. Earth ships are on the way. Small, not fancy, but they fight dirty. They improvise. If you want to win, fight with us. Not behind us, not against us. With us. He stepped down. The scanner stayed quiet, but its eye stayed on him. Lisa and Kevin waited near the door. Kevin held up his pad. First batch of designs sent. 3 fleets already downloading. Lisa looked at the crowd. Some aliens moved closer. Not to fight, to listen. John walked toward them. Time to get to work. Outside the windows, the first flashes of battle lit up the black. Distant explosions, silent in space. The war had started, and for the first time the galaxy had a chance, not because of perfection, but because someone refused to break. The battle alerts grew louder. Red lights flashed faster along the corridors of the conquered station. John Carter stood in the command center now. It was a big round room high above the docking bays. Screens covered the walls. They showed live feeds from the outer systems. Black shapes moved across the stars. Swarm hive ships, each one bigger than a city. They spat out smaller drones like angry insects. Lisa Morgan stood at a console next to him. She watched the numbers climb. Enemy count, friendly losses. First contact in Sector 7. Our scouts are pulling back. The machines are already adapting to our sensor jammers. Kevin Brooks typed fast on his pad. Wires ran from it to a big hollow table in the center. Precursor designs floated above the table in glowing blue. He had stripped the biology lock from many parts. Now aliens could use them too, if their tech teams worked quick. John looked at the main screen. A Vexar cruiser fired heavy cannons at a swarm drone. The drone twisted. It grew new armor plates right in front of them. The next shot bounced off. The cruiser took a hit. Fire bloomed silent in space. They're learning too fast, John said. His voice stayed calm. We need to hit them with something new every time. Elder Kale stood nearby. His guards watched the humans like they might vanish. The scanner gave you the full cache, the adaptive core. You must use it. The rest of us can only copy pieces. John nodded. I know, but I'm not going alone. Lisa, get me suited up. Kevin, finish the shared versions. Send them to every ship that answers. A door opened behind them. Gorath, the Krell warlord, walked in, his 4 arms flexed, his yellow eyes locked on John. 2 Krell guards followed. They carried heavy rifles. Gorath stopped a few steps away. Human, you speak of sharing, yet the scanner chose only you. Why should we trust your soft hands with our lives? John turned to face him. No anger, just steady eyes. Because if I die first, you still have the designs. You still have a chance. If I keep it all to myself and fall, you have nothing. Gorath snorted. Bold words. Show me. Put on the prototype gear. Lead from the front or step aside. Lisa stepped between them. He's not your servant, Gorath. Back off. John put a hand on her shoulder. It's okay. He's right. They need to see it work. He walked to a side room. Inside waited the precursor suit. It looked plain at first, dark gray material, no spikes, no glowing lines, just smooth and flexible, like heavy cloth. A helmet sat next to it. Simple visor, no fancy lights. John stripped off his uniform jacket. He stepped into the suit. It felt cool against his skin. Then it moved. The material flowed like liquid over his body. It tightened just enough. Not tight like armor, comfortable, like a second skin. The helmet sealed over his head. The visor cleared. And data scrolled across it. Heart rate, oxygen, enemy signals. Simple, clean. He walked back out. The suit made no sound, no heavy clanks, just quiet steps. Gorath stared. That is it? No weapons? No power? John raised one hand. A small panel opened on his forearm. A thin blade slid out, sharp but not huge. It glowed soft blue for a second, then faded. The weapon grows with the fight. Kevin explained from his console. "It learns what hurts the enemy. Then it makes more of that." John looked at the main screen. "Time to test it." He turned to Lisa. "You're with me on the bridge of the Earth cruiser Endeavor. Kevin, stay here. Keep the designs flowing." Gorath laughed low. "You take one small ship, while our fleet stand ready?" John met his eyes. "One ship to start. If it works, the rest follow. If it doesn't, you were right." The command center went quiet. Even Gorath said nothing more. They moved fast. Shuttles took them to the docking bay. The Endeavor waited, a medium Earth cruiser, not new, not fancy, hull patched from old fights, guns solid but basic, crew of 300, all human. John stepped onto the bridge. The captain, a woman named Rachel Torres, saluted. "Sir, we've got the precursor link ready. Your suit is synced to the ship systems." John nodded. "Good. Plot course for Sector 7. We're going in hot." The Endeavor jumped. Space folded. Stars stretched. Then they dropped out near the fight. Swarm drones swarmed a damaged Vexar cruiser. The big ship fired wild. Most shots missed. The drones circled tighter. John stood at the front viewport. His suit hummed soft. Data fed into his visor. Enemy patterns. Weak points. Our changes in real time. "Target the lead drone," he said. "The one adapting fastest. Hit it with everything." The Endeavor's cannons roared. Beams lanced out. The lead drone twisted. New shields popped up, but John's visor flashed. It saw the pattern. The drone used the same shield twice. "Switch to kinetic rounds," John ordered. "High-velocity slugs, no energy." Rachel Torres relayed it. The ship changed ammo. Slugs flew. Fast, hard. The drone's shield was ready for beams, not solid metal. One slug punched through. The drone sparked. It spun, exploded in silent fire. The other drones paused, like they thought. John felt it through the suit. A small pulse. The precursor link. It learned, too. The blade on his arm grew a little longer, thicker, ready for next time. More drones turned toward the Endeavor. They rushed. "To evade," John said. "But keep close. Draw them in." The ship danced, not smooth like alien ships. Jerky, human, improvised. One drone got too close. John felt the suit pull. His arm moved on its own a little. The blade extended. It sliced through the drone's core as it passed. The bridge crew cheered low. Rachel looked at him. "That wasn't you moving. That was the suit." John nodded. "It's learning me. I'm learning it." Back on the station, Kevin watched the feed. "It's working. The suit is adapting faster than the swarm can copy." Gorath stood beside him now, arms crossed, silent. The fight grew bigger. Swarm hive ships moved in. 3 of them. Black walls that blocked stars. They launched thousands more drones. John's voice came over the comms, calm, steady. "All ships, listen up. The precursor tech works. But not if we fight the old way. Hit them different every time. Change weapons, change angles, make them guess." Vexar ships answered first. They switched from beams to missiles, then to mines. Zorath flyers darted in patterns they never used before. Krell heavies rammed instead of shooting straight. The swarm hesitated. Its drones died faster. The hive ships tried to predict, but humans kept changing. Small ships looped in crazy paths. Big ones held still, then jumped sideways. John's suit grew warmer. New panels opened, small launchers on his shoulders. Tiny drones flew out. Not many. Smart ones. They attached to enemy drones, overloaded their code, made them turn on each other. The lead hive ship cracked. A hole opened in its side. Fire poured out. John spoke again. "Push now! All forces! Hit the breach!" Fleets moved. Not perfect order. Messy. But together. Beams, missiles, slugs, mines. Everything at once. The hive ship broke apart. Slow at first, then fast. Chunks drifted. Drones scattered, lost. The other hives pulled back. Slow, careful, like they feared something new. On the bridge of the Endeavor, John took off the helmet, sweat on his face, but he smiled small. Lisa walked up. "You okay?" He nodded. "Yeah." The suit. It felt like it knew what I wanted before I said it. Rachel Torres reported. "Swarm retreating. We've bought time, days maybe. Enough to build more." John looked out at the stars. Wreckage floated. Alien ships damaged but alive. Human ships, too. He spoke into the comms one more time. "This is Captain Carter. The scanner was right. Not because we're the strongest, because we don't stop changing. Keep fighting smart. Keep sharing, we'll win this." The comms filled with replies, some in alien tongues, some cheers. Even Goreth's rough voice came through. "Human, you have my respect. For now." John laughed quiet. "That's a start." The battle paused, but the war went on, and for the first time, the galaxy fought not as perfect machines or proud warriors. It fought like humans, stubborn, clever, and never quite the same way twice. The war did not end in one big battle. It stretched across weeks that felt like years. The swarm kept coming. New hives appeared from dark space. They learned from every fight. But so did the galaxy. And at the center of it all stood John Carter. He wore the precursor suit every day now. It had changed. The gray material looked darker in places where it had taken hits. The small scars of repaired fabric showed on the chest and arms. The suit remembered each battle. It grew stronger against the same weapons. Blades on his forearms could now split into smaller ones. Launchers on his shoulders fired smart micro-drones that hacked enemy code. The helmet visor showed not just data, but predictions, small flashes of what the swarm might do next. John rarely left the bridge of the Endeavor. The ship had taken damage. Patches covered holes in the hull. One engine ran rough, but the crew kept it flying. Rachel Torres commanded with sharp orders. Lisa Morgan stood at tactical. She called targets faster than anyone. Kevin Brooks worked from a corner station. He sent constant updates to allied fleets. New versions of the precursor tech rolled out every few days. The swarm pushed hard toward the inner systems. They wanted the Concord station. They wanted the scanner. They wanted to end the resistance at its source. John gathered the fleet commanders on a secure holo call. Faces appeared. Vexar generals, Zorath wing leaders, Krell warlords, even the crystalline beings from the core. Goreth's yellow eyes stared from his screen. "We hit them at the choke point in Sector 12, John said. "The nebula there hides our approach. We go in quiet. Then we change everything at once." Goreth grunted. "Your plans are chaos. No formation, no clear lines." John nodded. "Exactly. The swarm predicts order. It copies patterns. We give it none." Lisa added. "We split into small groups. Each group uses different weapons, different speeds, different tricks. The swarm can't adapt to 1,000 changes at the same time." Rachel Torres spoke up. "Earth ships will lead the first wave. We draw them out. The heavy fleets follow. Hit the hives when they're spread thin." The commanders talked. Some argued, some agreed. In the end, they voted yes. Not because they loved the plan, because they had seen it work before. The fleet moved out, thousands of ships, big ones, small ones, alien designs mixed with human junkers. They slipped into the nebula. Gas clouds hid their signals. Stars looked fuzzy through the mist. John stood at the viewport. The suit hummed soft against his skin. He felt the link stronger now, like the precursor code whispered in his blood. It showed him flashes, swarm movements, weak spots in their hulls. "Drop out in 3 minutes," Rachel said. "All ships ready." John turned to the crew. "This is it. We don't stop until they break. Or we do." The Endeavor jumped. Space cleared. The swarm waited. 5 hive ships, each the size of a small moon. Drones filled the black like a storm of metal locusts. "Go," John said. Earth ships surged forward. They flew wild paths. Some looped, some zigzagged. They fired mixed loads, kinetic slugs, plasma bursts, EMP pulses, even old chemical rockets. No two ships used the same thing twice. The swarm reacted. Drones shifted. New shields formed. But the changes came too fast. One group of drones hardened against slugs. Then human ships switched to beams. Those drones died quick. Another group adapted to beams. Then missiles hit them. The swarm code lagged. It could not keep up. Behind them, the heavy fleets moved in. Vexar cruisers pounded with railguns. Zorath flyers darted through gaps. Krell ships rammed and tore. The nebula lit with silent explosions. John's suit pulled. He felt the call. "I'm going out," he told Lisa. She grabbed his arm. "You're not boarding a hive alone." "Not alone," he said. "But I need to reach the core. The scanner link shows a central node. If we take it, the swarm loses coordination." Lisa looked at him hard. Then she nodded. "Take a squad. Don't die." John took a small team, 5 humans in modified precursor suits. They launched in a stealth pod. It slipped through the drone cloud. The pod attached to the lead hive's side. Quiet cuts opened a hole. Inside, the hive was dark, cold metal halls. Red lights pulsed like heartbeats. Machines moved on tracks. No air, no sound but low hums. John led the way. His visor mapped the path. The suit adjusted. Magnetic boots for zero gravity. Lights that hid their heat. They moved fast. Swarm defenders appeared. Spider-like bots with blades. John's team fought. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. One human went down. A blade through the chest. The suit sealed the wound, but he was gone. John felt anger rise. The suit answered. Blades grew sharper. He cut through 2 bots in one swing. They reached the core chamber. A huge sphere hung in the center. Wires and tubes fed into it. It glowed purple. The node. Drones poured in. Hundreds. John raised his arms. Launchers fired. Micro-drones swarmed out. They attached to the enemy bots. Code spread. Bots turned, fired on each other. The node pulsed faster. It knew danger. John ran forward. His suit opened panels. Cables shot out. They plugged into ports on the node. The link burned hot. Data flooded his mind. Swarm memories. Endless hunger. Cold logic. Then he pushed back. The precursor code fought. It adapted. It learned the swarm's patterns. Then it broke them. The node flickered. Lights dimmed. The purple glow faded. Outside, the hive ships slowed. Drones stopped mid-flight. Some drifted. Others crashed into each other. The swarm fleet faltered. John pulled the cables free. His suit smoked in places. He felt tired. Deep tired. His team carried the fallen man. They retreated to the pod. It detached, flew back through the chaos. Back on the Endeavor, John stepped onto the bridge. He took off the helmet. Sweat ran down his face. Lisa rushed over. "You did it!" John looked at the screens. Swarm ships turned, slow, confused. Then they fled, one by one, into the dark. The nebula cleared. Stars shone bright again. Cheers filled the bridge. Crew hugged. Some cried. John walked to the viewport. He watched the enemy run. Kevin's voice came over comms. "All fleets report. Swarm in full retreat. No counterattack. The node break spread. They're blind now." Gorath's face appeared on screen, his voice rough but clear. "Human, you kept your word. The galaxy owes you." John shook his head. "Not me. All of us. We changed together." Elder Kale appeared next. The scanner's final message came through. It said, "Origin restored, adaptation complete." John gave a small smile. "Guess that means we did okay." Weeks later, the Concord station repaired itself. Ships docked, crews rested. The war was over. Not perfect peace, but the swarm was broken, scattered, too weak to return soon. John stood in the Great Hall again. The scanner waited. Its eye glowed soft white. Aliens gathered. Not in lines this time, just to listen. John spoke simple words. "We won because we didn't try to be perfect. We tried to keep going. Humans aren't special. We're just stubborn. We fall. We get up. We help each other up. That's the origin. That's what the precursors left us with. He looked at Lisa, at Kevin, at Rachel, at Gorath in the back. The scanner chose me, but it really chose all of us, the ones who adapt, the ones who share, the ones who refuse to quit. The hall stayed quiet. Then slow claps started, first humans, then others, Vexar, Zorath, Krell. The sound grew. John stepped down. The scanner's voice spoke one last time. Prototype fulfilled. Legacy passed. The eye dimmed. Forever. John walked out with his team. Outside the windows, stars waited. Peaceful now. Lisa walked beside him. What now? Hey, Captain? John looked at the black. We go home, fix the ship, eat real food. Then, we keep going. The galaxy's still big, still dangerous, but we're ready. Kevin grinned. And if something new comes? John laughed quiet. We'll figure it out. Same as always. They kept walking. The station lights glowed warm behind them. Somewhere far off, Earth turned slow, waiting. The origin had returned. Not as one man, but as a way. A stubborn, messy human way. And the stars would never be the same.